Today, I want to talk about how you can create a perfect first introduction for your manga, comic, or light novel character, and how you can apply these techniques to your own creations. Hi everyone, if you don't already know me, my name is Minette Cross, and on this channel, I give you tips and tricks on how to turn your manga into a masterpiece. If you enjoy the tips in this video and you want to have more advanced lessons and techniques, please consider checking out my courses available on midnightscross.com/courses. So in today's video, we are talking about the topic of how to introduce characters in your manga, comic, or light novel. These techniques will focus on how you can introduce them through images and also through describing and writing about them in novel form. The first tip is show a main key aspect of their personality. In this way, your character's personality will be the first thing that your audience will notice. For example, if your character is someone who is more stubborn or someone who is a bit more angry, that would be the first thing that your audience would notice when your character is introduced. Maybe you would show that character being angry about something. Or if your character is someone who is really cheerful and positive, maybe they introduce themselves in a really positive and upbeat way. You will notice that with many popular anime or manga characters, when they first are introduced in the scene, their personality is really clear and easy to notice on the surface. This is something that you can apply to your own manga creations. For example, when Madoka Kaname is first introduced in Polamaji Madoka Magica, her bubbly personality and cheerful aspects to her character are one of the most eye-catching aspects, and this is definitely reflected in her first appearance in the story. My second tip is add a main focus point to their appearance. In order to avoid overwhelming your readers with too many details, especially in a novel when you are describing your characters rather than showing them, it can be helpful to focus on one main aspect of their appearance. So in the case of a light novel, when you are bringing your character in, you might focus on how they have a really interesting and unique hairstyle, or you might focus on the way they style their outfit in a very unique way. If your character is wearing a school uniform, they might add additional accessories or details that maybe makes the uniform stand out a lot more than it does with other characters. Or this particular character might have a very unique eye color, and maybe that is something that really stands out with that character. Now, when it comes to a manga, when you are showing your characters with the illustrations, it can really help if you focus on a main aspect with that as well. In this way, it can mean that when you are designing your characters, you could put a bigger focus on creating one major unique aspect about the character, and even if other parts of the design are also unique, by focusing on the main eye-catching part, it can make it more simplified for you, and it can make it more easier for your readers to be able to understand that character a lot more easily. My third tip is use their appearance to describe who they are. Their appearance can really say a lot about who this character is and what they really mean for your story. For example, if you want to reveal aspects of the character's personality, maybe this character is someone who's really quite shy, so maybe they kind of hide themselves behind their hair a bit. Maybe they have bangs that hide their eyes or their face because they're a little bit shy or a bit nervous. That is one way you can use appearance to show their personality. Or if this character is someone who is very business oriented, someone who's very serious, maybe their clothes are very proper or very businesslike. Or if this character is someone who is very bold and confident, maybe they wear clothes that really express that personality and really reveal the unique qualities about them. So think about as you are designing your characters and as you're introducing them, think about what their appearance can really say about who this character is. My fourth tip is use their dialogue to show their character. When you bring this character in, think about what their first line will be and what they might say first when you are introducing them. Because your character's first line will be one of the most important ways to really let your audience know more about who this character is. In many cases, when a character is first introduced, their line will usually be something quite eye-catching or even memorable in order to make it easier for this character to be recognized. Even if your character is doing something simple like greeting another character, they can still add their own unique catchphrase or mannerisms into that sentence in order to make it more unique to that character. For this example, there's characters such as Azusa from K-On!, and when she first meets the girls in the band, she's very polite and proper, and so that is one way that she is first introduced in her lines of dialogue. In other examples, maybe your character says something really bold or unexpected, and that can also be a very fun way to introduce that character to the scene. My fifth tip is give them one main memorable trait. When your audience is getting their first impressions of them, by simplifying their personality, it can make it a lot easier for your audience to understand them. Whether that be their kindness, or maybe their seriousness, or how confident they are, think about what their major personality trait is and how you might be able to reveal that when you first bring that character into the scene. For this example, I want to talk about Yakimaru from Dororo, whose personality is quite quiet when he is first introduced, which does reveal more about who this character is. So think about it with your own characters in your own creations and how you can give them one major trait that you might like to show to your audience when they first see this character. My sixth tip is introduce them in a daily moment. When you're bringing your character into the scene, one great way to make it feel natural is to introduce this character in a moment in their daily lives. Rather than just unexpectedly bringing the character in and having them introduce themselves, say hi, it might be a better idea to think about what that character does every day and how you could use that to make it feel more natural for your audience to meet them. For example, if your character works at a particular job, your characters may go to that location and meet that character there as they are working. If your character goes to school, maybe they have a particular hobby at school or they go to a particular school group, and so you can introduce that character in that activity. Your character may even have certain mannerisms or habits, and so even if they are in a simple environment, such as at school, they could be maybe chewing their pencil as they are thinking, they could be drawing before class starts, they could be reading a book, and all of these reveal little aspects of the character's traits and what they might do in their daily lives when you are introducing that character. For example, in Victorian romance Emma, the character Emma is introduced during her daily life as working as a maid, and so that is a really good way for both of the characters, Emma and the love interest in the story, to both easily meet and become more connected during a moment in their daily lives. It makes it feel way more natural and realistic. The seventh tip is use the introduction to drive conflict. Keep in mind that conflict in a story is a way to keep the story interesting. Now, by conflict, I don't necessarily mean that there has to be a major battle scene in order to cause conflict, but conflict in a scene is just when maybe two characters aren't completely getting along. Maybe there is a certain problem in the scene that may need to be resolved. And whenever there's a problem in the story, it means that your characters are always doing something. And as long as your character is taking action, that's what keeps things interesting. So in order to create conflict with the introduction, you need to think about what this character's introduction really means in the story and what this character may cause by them being introduced in the story. So to give you an example, maybe your main character has a particular love interest, but then this other character comes in who may be more suited to their love interest. And so that does cause a little bit of a conflict. Maybe it causes a conflict even within your own main character, where maybe your main character doesn't feel good enough because now this new character has just been introduced who causes this a bit of conflicting situation. Especially if we use the anime cliche where maybe this character is like a childhood friend or they know the love interest character better than the main character does. In another example, maybe you introduce a new character and maybe there's someone who is naturally a bit more stubborn or aggressive, and so that would cause a little bit of conflict with the characters around them if they are more of that stubborn type. Or in another example, maybe your main character and the character you introduced have very conflicting personalities. Maybe one of the characters is quite confident and bold and the other character is really shy, and so the confident character keeps trying to get the shy character out of their comfort zone, but the shy character isn't ready to get out of their comfort zone yet, which does cause a little bit of a conflict because both characters are having clashing personalities. So keep in mind that it doesn't have to be a major problem, but adding a little bit of a conflict or a slight problem when you're introducing your characters is a good way to make them feel a lot more interesting, believable, and natural. Eighth tip is bring them out of the panel. Now, this technique only works if you're creating a manga or a comic, but when you're bringing in a new character, a great way to put the focus on the character is to bring them out of the borders of the panel, to really show that character, their outfit and design, and make them pop out from the scene to your audience when they are looking at the page. My ninth tip is show your characters' responses to the events at hand. Are they someone who wants to help the characters around them and maybe solve any problems that are arising? Or are they someone who is really friendly and confident and they want to help the other characters with their certain situation? Or are they someone really friendly and positive and they want to really uplift the characters around them? Maybe there's someone who is really shy and they're just not really sure how to feel more connected with the people around them. Maybe they want to be friends, but they're really not sure how to express that. And so when situations arise where they could have an opportunity to do that, maybe they feel really nervous and unsure of what to do. For example, when Erika in Yumineko is first introduced, she immediately responds to the mystery at hand because that is her character role in the story. She responds to the mystery and the events at hand as she begins trying to be the one to solve the mystery. And finally, my 10th tip is avoid introducing too many characters at once. When you're bringing characters into a scene, it's really helpful to break down how many characters you introduce at once. You can have many characters throughout a story, but if you introduce them all really quickly, your audience might feel overwhelmed or confused by all of these new characters. So a great way to make it easier for your audience to understand is to break down when you introduce these characters and give them all their own unique times to shine throughout the book. Consider your character's timetable in their schedule and what they would do throughout the day in order for it to feel natural when you show them in the scene. Whether they're working or going to school or doing things in class, consider what your character does even when you're not showing them in the scene. And then when you do bring them in, it's going to feel a lot more natural and realistic for that character to be there. So thank you so much for watching my video today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know about the characters that you're introducing in your mangas, comics, or light novels because I'd really love to hear about them. Feel free to chat with me on any of my social media at Midnight's Cross because I always enjoy hearing about the projects that you're creating. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!